In this video, let us solve a double inequality. So here is an example. We have 2 less than or equal to 5x minus 6 less than 8. So this inequality has 2 inequality symbols, but one unknown. So how can we solve it? There are 2 choices. One is we can actually go back to solving one at a time. So we can split up this inequality into 2 different ones. For example, we can only look at the left side and then we can only look at the right side, meaning we can actually do 2 less than or equal to 5x minus 6 and also look at 5x minus 6 less than 8. So once we solve each one separately and we shade where each solution is true, the place where both shadings intersect would be the place that is true for both inequalities. And that's our answer. So let's do that. So solving each one separately, to undo the negative 6, we add 6 to both sides. That makes 8 less than or equal 5x. To cancel times by 5, we divide by 5. Since we are dividing by a positive number, the inequality sign remains the same. So we usually read this answer from the x, so this means x is greater or equal to 8/5. In other words, we could rewrite it as greater or equal to 8/5. Now on a sketch, what does it look like? Well, somewhere there is 8/5. Well, 8/5 actually happens to be 1.6. If we use a calculator, that's what it is. Now, we could make a grid. So let's say, if we want it to be precise, here is 0. Let's say 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on this end, -1, and so on. So 1.6 would be located between 1 and 2, roughly here. So we'll call this 1.6. which is also known as 8/5, and our answers are greater or equal. Greater or equal is everything to the right. So here is the solution to the first half. Now the solution to the second half, we start with adding 6 once again. We get 5x less than 14, dividing both sides by 5, we get x less than 14/5. 14/5 is 2.2. So somewhere here is 2.2. Now the first inequality has equal sign, which means it's included, so it's a bracket. The second inequality has no equal sign, which means it's a parenthesis. Less than 2.2 is everything to this end. And we can see that the shadings intersected on this small interval right here. And this is exactly what our answer is. Our answer is bracket 8/5, comma 14/5, parenthesis. So this is the answer to our inequality. And that's the first method. The first method is to split up the inequality into 2. The second method is to not split it up and actually solve it as 1. So choice number 2 is to actually solve it as is. Now, if we look at it in its entirety, just the way it's written, then we actually have 3 sides, not 2. 1 side, 2 sides, 3 sides. We solve for the x. So we're solving from the inside out. We want to get x by itself in the middle here. Everything else that is with the x has to be undone. There are 2 things to be undone. There is a multiplication between x and 5, and then there is a minus. Following the order of operations, PEMDAS, we undoing the 6 first and then the multiplication. Exactly the same procedure that we used when we solved each one of these. We undid the 6 and then we undid the multiplication. The same process here, only this time we're doing it to all the sides at once. So first we add 6 to all the sides, plus 6, plus 6, plus 6. That makes 8 less than or equal to 5x less than 14. Now the next is to undo the multiplication, so we divide by 5 each side, which is 3 sides, and now these cancel off, giving us x less than 14 fifths and less than or equal to here 8 fifths. And this is the same answer as we had before. Now if we were to write the answer in set builder notation, so here is set builder, then we could say it's x, all the x's such that x is between 8 fifths and 14 fifths. And that's the answer in set builder. The answer in the interval notation, we have to, one way is to simply redraw the diagram. So here is the x-axis. Now the left side says that x is greater than 8 fifths. So somewhere there is a bracket with 8 fifths. Greater than is everything to the right. Then on the other side, x is less than 14 fifths. So 14 fifths is greater than, it's somewhere here. 14 fifths less than is all of this end to the left. The place where they all crossed is right in the middle, right here. And so in my interval notation, the final answer would be a bracket 8 fifths, comma 14 fifths, prince. And that's the end. So these are my two solutions in set builder and in interval notation. And this is one of the examples of how to solve an inequality if it happens to have one unknown but two different inequality symbols. And that's it for this video. Thanks a lot.